I mean, if you're going to miss, like at least miss right. On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks defense is being severely underrated. I'll tell you why. Today's Locked On Mavs.
This is Cooper Flagg, and you're listening to Locked On Mavs.
On 5. Explain yourself.
All these changes, I still got my dog.
Dwight
Dwight
Powell.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great,
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm going to get a city like back.
And welcome. You're locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being an everydayer, making Locked On Mavs the #1 sports podcast network and all of sports podcast networks that are out there doing sports podcasting things. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 if you bet wins. You get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Today's episode, the NBA GM survey comes out every year. Love to talk about it, love to go through it, love to read it, love to be mad about it, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to be mad about it. One GM, though, is high on the Mavericks. I have a theory that there's one GM that is very high on the Dallas Mavericks this season, and everybody else is just not. Cooper Flagg is also the most important addition in the league in the offseason. I don't think that can be debated, and so we'll talk about that. But let's start here. The Mavs defense is being severely underrated. One of the questions that came in this NBA GM survey, if you've never seen it before, it's the yearly thing that John Schulman does on NBA.com. He surveys the entire league, all 30 teams, and whether the GM does it or a representative of the GM does it, I can't imagine Nico Harrison sitting down and doing this whole thing and asking, reading some of these questions and going,
Explain yourself.
Sorry.
and going through and answering these. And some of these other GMs, I can't imagine, but whether a representative is doing it or the GM themselves answers these questions. They cannot answer about their own team. So it's literally impossible for a team to get 100% or a player to get 100%. You can't answer your own player, your own team. One of the questions was, which team is the best defensive team in the NBA? 83% Oklahoma City Thunder. They were the #1 team last year. Makes sense. All right, they're going to repeat. They didn't lose anybody. They didn't really gain anybody. Some of their guys got older and probably got better and all that. I guess. We'll see. They've got Chet Holmgren that will hopefully play a whole season this year. Again, we'll see. Minnesota and Orlando both got 7% of the vote, which basically means they got 2 votes each. The Houston Rockets got 1 vote, 3%. That's 1 vote. The Dallas Mavericks didn't get any votes. And here's where I have a problem with it. If you're not going to vote the Thunder, how is it not the Dallas Mavericks? If you're going to bet on somebody else, how is the bet not on the Mavs? Where you look at Anthony Davis, Dereck Lively, Cooper Flagg, Max Christie, some of the other, the role players that the Mavericks have. You look at that group and say, how can you not bet that group is going to get there? And I think that's where I start to look through and I go, all right, well, the Orlando Magic, they've been pretty good the last couple of years, been a stout defense. I just don't know that they have the upward mobility to get to #1 in that sense. They don't have an elite defender that can really change the whole landscape. Besides Jonathan Isaac, I don't think he's going to play enough. Jalen Suggs is probably that guy. Got injury concerns. The Mavs have injury concerns. Minnesota Timberwolves, you get that one. I understand where they're coming from with that one. Got some elite defenders. Obviously, Rudy Gobert, but getting older. Jaden McDaniels for sure. But they're still going to throw Mike Conley out there. They're going to play a lot. They're going to depend a lot on these young guys, Terrence Shannon and Rob Dillingham. Then the Houston Rockets, you lost Dylan Brooks. You still got Ahmed Thompson, still got Tari Eason, but you bring in Kevin Durant. You got Alfred Şengün. The defense was really good with Alfred Şengün last year, so I'm not going to disparage him at all. But with Şengün and with Kevin Durant, I'm starting to see how, I think that defense will take a step back this season. The Mavericks, though, are going to get the full Anthony Davis. They're going to get the full Cooper Flagg. They'll get hopefully the full Dereck Lively. If they stay healthy, the bet should be the Dallas Mavericks. They've already set a goal for themselves to be top 3 defensively. What's stopping them from being #1? And if you're looking at me saying, you're crazy, why are you talking about this? This is ridiculous. There's no reason to do this. It's very, very hard to repeat as the #1 defense in the NBA. Here's how tough it is. You ready for this? The #1 defense in the NBA in 2018 was the Boston Celtics. The next season after that, they finished 7th. The #1 defense in the NBA that season in 2019 was the Utah Jazz. The season after that, they finished 13th in the NBA. Same players, basically. 2020, that year, Milwaukee was the number one team. The year after that, they finished 10th. The Utah Jazz were back to the number one. So they went 1-13-1, the Utah Jazz did. And so 2021, they were back to the number one team on defense. The Utah Jazz were 9th the next season. Like, you see a pattern here. It is very hard to repeat as the number one team. That team in 2022 that was the number one team was the Boston Celtics. The Mavs, they were in the Final Four with that team. The next year, they finished 3rd. That's the best one we've seen so far. Cleveland was the number one team in 2023. The next season after that, they finished 6th. Minnesota was the number one team defensively in 2024 that season. And the season after that, they finished 6th. And now OKC is the number one defense. Where are they going to finish this season? It's hard for me to look at this list and go, yeah, OKC number one for sure. Like, it's a hard thing to repeat. And so I guess you're betting on a team's downfall, or you're betting on a team that is going to be bad just because the numbers say, like, just because it's impossible, or it has been impossible in the past to repeat as the number one team. And I know that they've said all the right stuff in training camp and all that, but I don't know. Bet on the Dallas Mavericks. I'm really high on this team defensively. I think they're going to get it defensively. I think that they've got solid players. I think that they've got just a harder trio to deal with in Flagg, Lively, and Anthony Davis than any of those other ones. Even give me the Thunders guys. Even give me Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Chet. Like, Cooper Flagg, Dereck Lively, Anthony Davis. Like, they're gonna take away the entire paint, the entire thing. You're just gonna have to shoot threes against them, and so a team's just gonna have to bet that they're gonna make more of these bad threes against the Mavericks. And so that's what I'm betting on. Betting on Max Christie to take a step forward. Klay Thompson's still gonna be fine. D'Angelo Russell's gonna be okay. And then the guys coming off the bench, Naji Marshall, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, all going to be good too. It's not like they take this complete step backwards when some of these guys come in. All right, I'm getting fired up about this one because I just don't think the Thunder are going to repeat as the number one team defensively. And I think the better bet besides the Timberwolves, the Magic, or the Rockets should be the Dallas Mavericks. And then here's where I get even more upset about this list. And this is basically what these lists are for me to just get mad at them. Best defensive player in the NBA, Victor Wembanyama, 80%. Of the vote. Makes sense that he would be the number one. Rudy Gobert and Evan Mobley, both with 7% of the votes, basically both receiving 2 votes each. Also receiving votes, Giannis and Lou Dort. Anthony Davis didn't get a single vote. If you're not going to go Wembanyama, I guess you still go Gobert, but Evan Mobley, Giannis, Lou Dort, man, Anthony Davis, this is the season for him to remind people just how good of a defender he is. AD, I'm in your camp right now. I'm fully on board. I'm back. I'm in your. I was never gone, but I'm back. I'm in your camp. I think it should be Wembanyama, probably. But there's a scenario where Anthony Davis is a better defender than Victor Wembanyama this season, for sure. Because who's the best interior defender? Victor Wembanyama got 80% of the vote. Rudy Gobert got 10%. Anthony Davis did get a vote there. We feel good about that one. Evan Mobley got a vote. Zubats got a vote. Who's the person that voted for Zubats instead of Wembanyama, Gobert, Anthony Davis, or Evan Mobley? Who is that person? That is not the Clippers GM. Like, that is not Lawrence Frank, the Clippers GM. Here's another one I got frustrated with. Who's the best power forward in the NBA? Giannis, 93% of the vote. Evan Mobley, 7%. So he got 2 votes. No Anthony Davis. If you're not going to go with Giannis, how do you go Evan Mobley over Anthony Davis? Is it just availability? Is that the thing with all these? Is it just availability? All right, fine. This is a chance so then I'm going to say this. This is a chance for Anthony Davis to prove he should be on these lists. If Anthony Davis is on these lists next year, the Maverick season went really well and went way better than anybody expected, way better than all these GMs thought that it was, except for the one GM that was really high on the Dallas Mavericks. We're going to go over that one because I think that's really funny going through some of these. I think there's one person that's high on the Dallas Mavericks. And Cooper Flagg coming up. Let's talk about how Cooper Flagg will be the biggest acquisition in the offseason. He'll make the biggest impact. He got 1 vote. He should have got more. I'll tell you why coming up. Locked on. Mavs continues. Coming up next. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks daily fantasy made easy. All you have to do is go to prizepicks.com and see what is available for you. Go check it out and see what they got, because all you have to do is go to Prize Picks, a fun, simple way to add more excitement to football, basketball, all kinds of things. You just pick more or less on player projections, like Josh Allen's passing yards, Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown. You're in the game. Hopefully you didn't pick Saquon Barkley rushing for a touchdown or the Eagles winning, because the Eagles did not win. How do Cowboys fans respond when the Giants beat the Eagles? Are you just like really happy for one of them and they're just like, but they're not as happy? I don't know. Check out Prize Picks though. If you are as invested in some of these other teams and want like just a little more fun with it, use Prize Picks. You can set your lineup. You pick more or less on their stat projections. You pick like, if you say Cooper Flagg points 10.5 for the next preseason game, you can pick more or less on that one. It's fun. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA. You get $50 in lineups if you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA. So you play a $5 lineup, then you get $50 to use for other lineups all across Prize Picks, which is awesome. So, I mean, that's like 10 more lineups you can put in there if you want to just keep doing the $5 thing. Code LOCKEDONNBA for the first $5 lineup. That's Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
All these changes, and I still got my dog Dwight Powell. I still got
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every day. We appreciate you for checking out the show, listening in. We've got a whole bunch of ways you can follow the show. Check the QR code. Our Twitter and Instagram and TikTok is at Locked On Mavs. So go subscribe to that. Follow those. We're putting out stuff all the time from the show, extra stuff. So go follow those. Check the QR code for all those ways to follow the show. Slightly and I will be at Fan Jam. So if you see us around, say hi, come by. I don't know what's going to happen at Fan Jam. There's going to be a scrimmage, and that's it. I got a question on the text line today that said, any advice for Fan Jam? No. It goes so quick. It's like an hour. Like you literally, it feels like you get to your seat, they start going, and then they're done. You're like, whoa, wait, that was quick. But just get there as soon as doors open, because it's first come, first serve for the seats. I think it's at 7:30 tonight at the American Airlines Center, but I think doors open at like 6:30. Check the Mavs. Mavs will post all that stuff about it, but it should be fun. I'll be there. It's fun every year, and it's usually like in the middle of the day, and they're doing it at night, like Friday night, which I found really interesting. So I don't know if you guys are doing something afterwards. Like, I don't know, let's go hang out. Today, I'm talking about the NBA GM survey. I've already been frustrated by some of the missing Anthony Davis. Mavs not getting any votes for being the best defensive team or a chance to be the best defensive team. And then I think there's one GM that thinks the Mavericks are going to be good this season, because the Mavericks got basically like 0 votes for any of these, like who's the best team, blah, blah, blah. But they got 1 second place vote to finish second in the West. The only teams receiving first place votes, the Thunder got 87% of the votes. Denver got 10% of the votes, so like 3. Houston got 3%, so 1 vote to be first overall. The Mavericks got a second place vote. They also got a 4th place vote. But in the aggregate, like when you averaged them all out, they finished 8th. So most of these GMs think that they're going to probably finish lower, like maybe 9th or maybe not even, like barely in the play-in, basically. But there's this one GM out there that thinks the Mavericks are going to be a second seed. And I respect that. I respect that for that GM. There's another one that I saw, I think there's just one GM out there that just thinks the Mavericks are going to be really good. Hey, I hope that GM is right. I hope that we're looking back and be like, man, that one team was right about the Mavericks, whoever it was. The Mavericks were also the number 2 team, or at least tied number 2, had multiple votes as far as which team's level of success this season is the toughest to predict. Number 1 is the Philadelphia 76ers. They were 47% of the votes, like half. Tied for second was all these teams that got 2 votes. Mavericks got 2 votes. Warriors got 2 votes. Rockets got 2 votes. Clippers got 2 votes. Lakers got 2 votes. Grizzlies got 2 votes. And Pelicans got 2 votes. Basically, 5 through 9, 10, 11 in the West all got 2 votes. It's like, who's the toughest to predict? Celtics and Bucks each got 1 vote. But basically the entire Western Conference, except for the Thunder, Minnesota, Houston, Denver, I guess San Antonio too. That's like the majority of the Western Conference is tough to predict their success. It is tough out there in the Western Conference. And I agree that the Mavericks like success is going to be tough to predict because it depends on health. Unlike some of these teams where it's like we're depending on the old guys for the Clippers. All right, is that going to work out for you? Lakers, like LeBron and his sciatica is acting up. You're hoping that he gets better and that Luka can carry some of these guys because his roster is not very good right now. The Pelicans, I'm not confused about their success. I don't think that there's going to be success for the Pelicans. The Warriors, again, it's like old guys. It's like all these teams have these injuries. Rockets is more about like guard play and can they create enough offense and is their defense going to stay as good as it was last year to keep them afloat? Interesting ones. I just found some of these interesting. Cooper Flagg got one vote in the category which one acquisition will make the biggest impact. This question, I always read into these questions too much. I admit that. I really do. How is it not Cooper Flagg number one? Kevin Durant was number one. He got 73% of the vote. And I get that they're talking about like this season, but how is Cooper Flagg not the number one impact player to be acquired this offseason? It probably saved the GM's job. It probably was the thing that saved the franchise in terms of fan engagement and interest. It probably saved podcasts out there that are covering the Dallas Mavericks every single day. Getting Cooper Flagg was massive for the Dallas Mavericks. And so maybe they're just looking at we're only looking at on court. We're not looking at any of the ancillary things. We're not looking at anything off the court or anything like that. Just tell me what's the most important thing. How is Cooper Flagg not making the biggest impact on the team? How is that? How is he not being that? If everyone is saying that he is going to be the rookie of the year, which rookie would be the best player in 5 years? How is Cooper Flagg not the number one player making the biggest impact? And I'll argue that even with Kevin Durant, he's going to make an impact. How much Kevin Durant are we going to get? Kevin Durant is getting older. And okay, here's my question about Kevin Durant and the impact. If they win one playoff round, if the Rockets win one playoff round this year, is that a big enough impact for him to have the biggest impact? Like, is that as much as he can impact them? Can he get the Rockets to the Western Conference Finals? Probably. But if he doesn't, and if he gets hurt or can't make it through, because we've seen these old guys just not be able to get through the conference final or like through the conference finals. Clippers go down, Lakers go down. Like all these old guys just have not been able to get through. Something I am concerned about with Anthony Davis and Kyrie, especially next year as they get a year older. Definitely the year after that, I'll be concerned about it. Like they have to be able to last all throughout the playoffs. And what if Kevin Durant doesn't? The stuff with Anthony Davis I've already talked about today has nothing to do with this. But for this one, if Kevin Durant doesn't, like what if he doesn't get them to win another playoff round? Then Cooper Flagg's impact is just unmatched, I think, from anybody. Desmond Bane also got 17% of the votes. What is that like? That's like 5 votes. That's an interesting one. They're in the Eastern Conference. I could see that. But I don't think he's affecting the fan base or the franchise or the organization in the way that Cooper Flagg is. How many people have come up to me? Ooh, this is tough. I'll probably see a bunch of you at Fan Jam. How many have come up to me and said, yo, I was out. I had season tickets. I was getting season tickets for a long time. Then a trade happened and I was just done, man. I was done. I was out. And then they got Cooper Flagg. And then I was like, all right, hey, honey, do you have the season ticket, the season ticket office number for the Mavs again? And they called it up. They picked up the phone. They called the number and they said, hey, excuse me. Yeah. Ticket rep. No, this is not the guy that canceled because of the trade. So many people got their tickets back. It's the thing that Nico Harrison is like still holding on to and saying, well, these people got these tickets back. All those people that we lost because they canceled their season tickets when the trade happened, they all came back because of Cooper Flagg. I don't know if I believe that it's all of them. But a bunch did. He saved the franchise in a lot of ways because the Mavs got the number one pick. Cooper Flagg made the biggest impact. I don't think it can be like also receiving votes. Cooper Flagg got one vote. Drew Holiday for the Blazers got one vote. Convince me Drew Holiday is making a bigger impact than Cooper Flagg or Kevin Durant even. Miles Turner in Milwaukee got another one. I guess if you think getting Miles Turner saved them from losing Giannis, that one I can kind of understand if I like squint hard enough and try and look at it. In all of this, lost in all of this though, I just can't.
I'm not playing.
Is that last year the number one player one player acquisition that will make the biggest impact? The GMs voted, and it was Paul George. 60% of the vote, Paul George, that will make the biggest impact. So maybe it's good Cooper Flagg didn't get this one because maybe it's a cursed award. Coming up, Cooper Flagg also best rookie in 5 years. Couple of GMs don't think Cooper Flagg will be. They're wrong. And the one spot where the GM survey had the biggest miss in all of this. Talk about all that and more coming up. Locked On Mavs continues right now. Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds, things that you can use to get in on the action. Go check out FanDuel, see what is available for you. Right now, if you're a new customer, you can put down $5, and if you win, you get $300 in bonus bets. You gotta love that. That is awesome for you. Go see all the preseason action, but they also have NFL. They also have WNBA. There's one game left, right? That's tonight on Friday. So you can go check that out and see what is available for you. Great stuff all the time over there on FanDuel. Gotta love when they have the deal where you put down $5 and you get $300 in bonus bets, because if you win that one, you get the money that you made, but you also get all the other things that you could do with the $300. You can put down a whole bunch of other bets like that too. So go check it out. See what is available for you. Gotta love that. And go check out FanDuel. So go check out the FanDuel app, FanDuel.com. Today's episode also brought to you by Quo, formerly OpenPhone. One of the tools that helps make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly OpenPhone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard us talk about for a long time. They help you out with all kinds of different things because you're somebody, if you have a small business, you have to figure out how to manage all these different kinds of like messages and all these different kinds of like times that people are trying to find you and trying to figure out what you're all about and what your business model is and all that, and how you're going to help them. You can't answer all those all the time, but Quo can help you with that. It's formerly OpenPhone. They have a shared inbox, so no customer gets left hanging. Their built-in AI agent is a game changer. It can take after-hours calls, capture leads, keep businesses moving even when you're off the clock. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly OpenPhone. Get started for free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers.
Explain yourself. Sorry.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. We are talking about the Mavs, the NBA GM survey. The Mavs kind of all over it. They've got little spots where they are all over the place, but not enough Anthony Davis. Cooper Flagg was mentioned. The Mavs, one of the toughest teams to predict according to the GMs. And Cooper Flagg, he got one vote as the player acquisition that will make the biggest impact. I think he should have been the number one player. Who will be rookie of the year? 97% picked Cooper Flagg. VJ Edgecombe got one vote. Somebody out there. It's not Daryl Morey. It's not the Sixers GM. But one GM out there. I guess it would be Nico Harrison. Right? Because you can't vote for yourself. Was this the most unanimous one on there? Who else got 97%? Best center in the NBA, Jokic, 97%. Cooper Flagg, who will win Rookie of the Year, 97%. That's it. The only things that the NBA GMs can agree on is that Jokic is the best center in the league and Cooper Flagg will win Rookie of the Year. That's the only thing that they can agree on. Gotta love that. Wow, I just realized this. That means that Nico Harrison picked VJ Edgecombe as the non-Cooper Flagg player to win Rookie of the Year. Interesting on that one. Where would the Mavs have had to land to get VJ Edgecombe? Because I wonder if that's where he was going to go with the. I wonder if that's where he was going to go with that. VJ Edgecombe went 3. Interesting. I always got to write that down. When you're like, oh, GM was interested in this player. Which rookie would be the best player in 5 years? Cooper Flagg got 93% of the vote. Also receiving votes, VJ Edgecombe, probably from Nico Harrison again, and Dylan Harper also got votes on that one. And so I can see the Dylan Harper case if you want to try and make a case for it. But Cooper Flagg, I mean, best player in 5 years. It's almost unanimous. He'll be the best player this rookie season, and he'll be the best player from this class in 5 years. He's going to be that good. Everybody's raving about him. If you've seen, there's been breakdowns of his first preseason game from B-Ball Breakdown and Tim Legler. Like, they all are just raving about the stuff that he did because of how comfortable he looked in that first game. All right, I've saved it long enough. The biggest miss in the NBA GM survey. Who is the best assistant coach in the NBA? Number 1, Mike Nori, Minnesota, 25%. Jeff Van Gundy, Clippers, 14%. That's pretty good. Royal Ivy, Houston, 11%. Sam Cassell, 7%. Chris Quinn, 7%. Also receiving votes. Ready for this? James Borrego, Pelicans. A Knicks one, a Bucks one, a Brooklyn one, another Knicks one, Clippers one, Charlotte one, Golden State one, Sean Sweeney, who's now with San Antonio, and Wes Unseld Jr. of the Bulls. How is Frank Vogel not the best assistant coach in the NBA? I don't think Jeff Van Gundy didn't win an NBA title, did he? Because he's the only assistant coach that has won a title. How would he not be the one? How would he not be the best assistant coach? How would Frank Vogel not be the best assistant? Try and convince me that there are, how many did I just name? I just named like 15 GMs or 15 assistant coaches. How is Frank Vogel not the best assistant coach in the NBA? Is Frank Vogel secretly a terrible assistant coach and he's just biding his time in order for Jason Kidd to either leave or get fired? No, but I'm standing up for this coaching staff. I'm standing up for the coaching staff that Jason Kidd put together.
I have to apologize.
I'm apologizing for Frank Vogel because he should have gotten a vote here. At least one. Multiple. Should have gotten multiple. Coach won a title. Put together great defense. Has led the Pacers to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years in a row. Great defensive coach. Should have been best assistant coach. Or at least get a vote from somebody. Did they just miss him, or is there something I'm missing on this? It's one of those. It's one of those questions where you're like, how did everybody miss on this? Like, how multiple Knicks coaches got mentioned. What? Which player is the best pure shooter? Steph Curry, 93%. The only other person receiving a vote, Klay Thompson, 7%. There's 2 GMs out there still believe. I guess one of them's the Golden State GM, which, hey, you know what? That's awesome. Shout out to, what was it, Mike Dunleavy? Shout out to Mike Dunleavy for sticking with his guy Klay, because he had to have voted for him because he couldn't vote for Steph. All right, this last one. All right. For those that, hopefully we got to a point in the show where it's just us. Like, it's just the Raccoon Squad. It's just the Mavs fans. It's just us that are like, all right, let's just have a conversation. Oh, God. If you're starting a franchise today and could sign any player, who would it be? Victor Wembanyama, 83%. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 13%. Jokic, 3%. Luka got 0 votes. Not even receiving votes. Last year, Luka got 1 vote. I remember being upset about that. Luka only got 1 vote. He was 4th, but at least he got a vote, as some GM out there said that they would start their franchise with Luka Doncic, because I think that's the one you should do. He's already a proven playoff player, more than SGA was. SGA last year had not been proven. Jokic was older than him, and I would have gone with Luka. The year before that, Luka got 10% of the vote. He got like 3 votes. He was 4th again. Year before that, and he is coming off of a finals, so I didn't get that one either. 3 votes. 2023, 45% of the vote. That's about 14 votes. He was 2nd. And if you were starting a franchise today, if you could sign any player, who would it be? So almost half of the NBA GMs would start their franchise with Luka Doncic. That was, 2 years ago? 3 years ago. 2022, 45%. He was the number 1. So in 4 years, we went from Luka was the player you would want to start your team with to now not receiving any votes at all. And I don't get just completely like writing off Luka at this point. Yes, Cooper Flagg didn't get any votes on this one, but I wouldn't write off Luka Doncic just yet. Right? Like, we all watched him play. We all seen him play. We all saw him lead a team to a finals. Victor Wembanyama, great. Awesome. Really good player. I think I have his top 5 player this season. I think he's going to be amazing. But if you're starting a franchise today, I don't know. I'd still bet on Luka. Man. 0 votes. Went from the number 1 to 0 votes. This is another thing I think that we can learn with the Cooper Flagg experience we're about to go through. It goes quick. It goes quick that you're like the talk of the town, like the belle of the ball. You're the one that everybody's talking about. To all of a sudden you're like not receiving votes. Now Luka got votes for best player at certain positions and all that stuff. Like, he's still getting some respect out there. But not that like the number 1, if you're starting a franchise today and you could sign any player, who'd it be? It's almost like that finals run and just how injured he was did more damage to him than it did positives for him. Both with other GMs and with his own team, apparently. Still lost. Still don't get it.
I don't always tell you guys the truth.
But I am telling you the truth. That's the NBA GM survey. That's what I think about that. Come hang out with me at Fan Jam. I'm going to do a bonus episode today where I talk about Dante Exum because I got a lot of questions about that on the text line today. So I'm going to do that. So check back a little bit later. Wherever you're listening, watching this show, there will be that episode there. So check that out with me. And then slightly now, I'll have a post-game show after the Fan Jam. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but anything could happen. Thanks so much for listening to Locked on Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.